The Blazers have beaten the Grizzlies and have secured the 8th spot in the West going into the NBA playoffs. What's going on, guys? It's Zeke from A to Zeke Sports, and welcome back to the channel. Before we get into this awesome episode I have planned for you guys, make sure to like the video and make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any A to Z content. So the video we're going to be getting into today is we're going to be discussing the NBA playoffs. All 16 seeds, 8 in the West and 8 in the East, have been secured, and we are going to be experiencing the NBA playoffs in just a few days. The bubble restart has gone really well so far, as we see some teams going home and some teams coming back to stay for the playoffs. One team that was amazing to watch during the playoffs was the Suns, who were the 13th seed in the East going into this bubble restart, and went 8-0, including victories against very top caliber teams. And the performance by Devin Booker and his half-court shots that he was making was very impressive. A few other characters that have really shown out in the bubble have been T.J. Warren, who has been scoring like over 30 points in most of the games, putting up incredible stat lines. Also Damian Lillard with multiple 50-point games. Luka Doncic, who has just been a triple-double machine, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, who most likely win MVP this season. So looking at these matchups that we have, the Trailblazers will be facing off against the Lakers in the West, and this is a kind of interesting matchup because the Lakers only went 3-5 in the bubble. They're not looking super good. I feel like once LeBron James and Anthony Davis get rolling, they'll be pretty much unstoppable. But right now, the Blazers, looking like one of the hottest teams of the league, might give the Lakers a little scare in this matchup. If the Lakers were to win right now, I'm thinking maybe in 6 games, I could see the Blazers pulling off some crucial victories, and that I could see them even if the Lakers play like they have in the bubble so far. They've been kind of offensively, and the Blazers have been just terrific. When you look at their roster, they have a losing record actually, but the way that they can heat up right now, they've got Carmelo Anthony making clutch shots. They've got C.J. McCollum, a great shooter, and someone that Damian Lillard can kick the ball to. And then Damian Lillard absolutely destroying it in the NBA bubble. You've got Yusuf Nurkic, who scored 20 points, over 20 points in the victory over the Grizzlies today. So it's really awesome watching this Trailblazers roster really gel and peak right now during the bubble. It'll be interesting to see how they match up against these Lakers. Also, the Bucks, who also went 3-5 in the bubble, they're going to be facing off against a Magic team that has Markelle Fultz, who has really stepped up his game this season. You've got Nikola Vucevic, a very outstanding European player. You've got Aaron Gordon, one of the greatest dunkers in the game. So I think the Bucks should probably win that pretty handily in 4 or 5 games, is what I'm thinking. Could see the Magic maybe winning 1 game if the Bucks have an off game, but yeah, probably Bucks in 4 in that. A really interesting matchup, going back to the West, is the Clippers versus Mavericks. So you take a look at that game there. It's going to be on Monday on ESPN. You've got the Dallas Mavericks, who have really the players that they've assembled with Steph Curry's brother, one of the best shooters in the game. You've got Kristaps Porzingis, who's been putting up multiple plus 35 games. You've got Luka Doncic, as I mentioned earlier, who's been scoring a triple-double. He had 1 game with 35 points scored. He had also 14 assists, 19 rebounds. It might have been the other way around. But he's just really been amazing, putting up great numbers, and with Porzingis, who has really shown from three, and also you have Tim Hardaway Jr., also a very reliable shooter. So this team could give the Clippers a scare, and this is definitely a series I'll look forward to watching. Definitely, probably the best first round series we're going to get to see against the number 2 Clippers and the number 7 Mavericks. Also, the Celtics and the 76ers facing off in the first round again. The Celtics as the number 3 seed and the Sixers as the number 6 seed. Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons are both out with injuries right now, and without them two on the roster against the Celtics, I think this game will be over in 4. Honestly, the way the Celtics are built, the way they can go on a tear offensively, just the way they attack you. The 76ers really will not have the big. Ben Simmons is 6'10" and Joel Embiid is 7'3", so not only will they hurt that defense, they're two of their most reliable scorers, especially Joel Embiid. So with them two out, that could have been their last game played together. The 76ers might want to pull the plug on what's kind of made them a very good playoff team, and they've been a contender to win a title, but never really making it past this second round, the Eastern semifinals. So we'll see what they do, and I'll probably see the Celtics winning this anyway. With even if Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons were playing, the Celtics are just a very well-built team, and I'd probably see Celtics winning that series anyway. All right, so also another really interesting series, the Jazz, who also have a very well-built roster, but really have not. They have one of the better records in the league. They're the 6th seed, but they do have a very good record. The Nuggets, number 3 seed, they have a very strong core. Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, and also the great Manute Bol's son has really been shining in the postseason. In his first game, his debut in the NBA, he's been injured for most of the season, but finally playing him coming into the bubble and into the postseason. They even asked him for a drug test, the NBA, after his first game, because he dominated with an array of blocks. I think he had 16 points, hit a couple of threes, and mind, this guy is 7'3", so, and he dribbled up the court one time, denied the pass to Nikola Jokic, and hit a 3. So the Nuggets have been playing a very kind of the opposite of the Rockets strategy. The Rockets have been going with the small ball approach, playing no centers and a bunch of guards. The Nuggets having Nikola Jokic, who's 6'11", their center or power forward. He can vary between those positions. They have him now playing point guard, which does kind of make sense. He is one of the better passing bigs in the game. Also, another team who's facing up against the Nets without a Kyrie, who's sitting out this bubble, and Kevin Durant, who was injured for most of this season. The Nets will probably fall to the Raptors, one of the most overlooked teams so far. They quietly averaged a better winning percentage than the Lakers did, and although they're the defending NBA champions, they don't really have much hype now that Kawhi Leonard has departed for Los Angeles and how he's been dominating with the Clippers. But the Raptors have a very good roster even without Kawhi Leonard. They've built really well. They've got Kyle Lowry and Pascal Siakam, who has been playing at MVP heights. The Kia MVP finalists this year were Giannis Antetokounmpo, LeBron James, and James Harden. Two other guys I would have liked to see in that conversation would probably be Luka Doncic and Pascal Siakam, but neither one of them getting the votes. They're probably the second next two guys up. But the way they've performed, they also have Marc Gasol, who's probably been their best player in the bubble. They've really just been they've put it together this season, even without Kawhi Leonard, and it'll be interesting to see if they could challenge the Bucks for the Eastern Conference title this year in the playoffs, because honestly the Raptors are a little bit better built for the playoffs. They have more experience in there, obviously winning last year, and Giannis has had a history of kind of not as much of a James Harden choke, but he has not been quite up to par in some of his playoff appearances. Also, another series to look at, the Pacers, who have been led by TJ Warren in the bubble, even though Oladipo has made his return. The Heat, I see them winning this, even though they are the lower seed, the Pacers being the 4th seed, the Heat being the 5th seed. I really do think the Heat will probably win. With Jimmy Butler, Gordon Dragic, Bam Adebayo, you got Derek Jones, one of the most renowned dunkers in the game, winning the slam dunk competition. Also a very reliable scorer. Bam Adebayo is probably the most improved player this year. Also Brendan Ingram for the Pelicans, who did not make the playoffs. I could see him winning most improved player as well. Also, make sure to look out for that Rookie of the Year race, because we've got Ja Morant, who really was running away with it most of the year, but then Zion Williamson, making his entrance into the NBA, could make a case. He's been averaging better numbers than Morant, although he did not play an entire season. I could see them maybe giving it to Zion. He's already been announced as the cover athlete, one of the cover athletes for 2K21. So the last couple series I want to look at, the Thunder versus Rockets. If this game is probably my series. I know I said earlier that the Clippers Mavericks might be my favorite, but now that I'm getting to this one, this is definitely the series I'm going to look at. These two teams who traded with each other, Chris Paul for Russell Westbrook. The Thunder have really shown out. These two teams finished with the exact same record this year. So really, they traded. Neither team really has won. As in saying the regular season, but I could see maybe the Thunder pulling out with this one. They are a legitimate challenge to these Rockets, who do have more star power with Russell Westbrook and James Harden, two players that maybe most people would consider better than Chris Paul, but Chris Paul just makes his team better, man, and that's making the overall team, looking a little more like a legitimate challenger to these Rockets. So for me, I'm gonna pull the upset right here. I'm gonna predict the Thunder in 6 in this matchup. Might go to 7 games. I could see 7, either one of those. The last series we're going to look at, Lakers versus Trailblazers. I did mention this at the start of the video, but we're going to take one more look at it. It's Damian Lillard. You got Carmelo Anthony, CJ McCollum, Yusuf Nurkic versus LeBron James and Anthony Davis, 2 top 10 players in the league. This thing's going to be a brawl. The Blazers, one of the hottest teams in the league. The Lakers have been one of the best during the season, but they did start to slump in the bubble. Make sure to comment below who you think will win all these series, and make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching A to Zeke Sports. In our next couple of videos, we're going to be looking at the MLB season, how it started off, and ranking our power rankings for how I think it's going on. And also, we're going to look at the NHL playoffs, mid-playoffs. So you guys aren't going to want to miss out on any of that. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, please. That would help me so much. And like the video. This is Zeke from A to Zeke Sports. You guys are the best.